Hi friends, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to discuss about regular and irregular verbs. Okay, this video is continuation to verb 2 video. Okay, let's see what is a regular verb. Lexical verbs are divided into two types, regular verbs and irregular verbs. In regular verb, we can predict all the verb forms from the base form of the verb. Okay, that is, the past tense and past participle forms are formed by adding ed to the base form. Okay, here for the base form talk, we have the past tense form talk and past participle form talk. Okay, that means let's talk. Okay, here talk is the base form. Next, if you want to use the past tense form, we say they talked yesterday in the park. Okay, if you want to use the past participle form of the verb, then we say they have talked in the morning. They have talked in the morning. This is the past perfect tense wherein talked is the past participle. Okay, next decide, decided, decided. So similarly, if decide is the base form, then the past tense form is decided and the past participle form is also decided. So the forms doesn't change. Play, played, played. Next. Okay, but there are continuous forms as well. They are talking. Okay, or the present participle form is talking. Okay, those forms are similar again, but specifically if you want to talk about regular verbs, okay, only the past tense and past participle forms remain unchanged. Okay, and they are formed by adding ed or suffix ed to the main verb. Let's check about irregular verbs. A verb whose forms are not predictable is called as an irregular verb. That means we cannot, predict the forms. For example, go, went, gone. Go, went, gone. Okay, the past tense form of go is went, and the participle form, past participle form of the verb go is gone. Similarly, for the word cut, here the forms are unchanged. But for the word become, past tense form is became, but past participle form is again become. Next, begin, began, begun. For example, let's go to the party. The past tense form of the verb is went, hence the sentence is she went to the party yesterday, or they had gone to the party. This is the past perfect tense. So in all the three cases, the verbs are completely different from each other. Next, transitive and intransitive verbs. These are another set of verbs. Okay, verbs are classified into two types based on the objects and the complements they follow. Let's see how. Okay, they are classified into intensive and extensive verbs. So, what are intensive verbs? The verbs that are followed by the subject complement are called as intensive verbs. Example, be, see, appear, look, become, etc. So, for the verb form be, the other forms are am, is, are. Okay. Example, she is a doctor. So, what is she subject? Is an intensive verb because it is followed by the complement doctor. Subject complement doctor. What is a subject complement? It identifies or describes the subject. Okay, it follows a leading verb and it may be a noun or an adjective. In this case, the word or the noun doctor is telling about the subject. she. Hence, is an intensive verb and doctor is the subject complement. Similarly, Meena is happy. Happy is an adjective because it is describing the quality of Meena. Hence, happy is also a subject complement. Is an intensive verb. The sky looks beautiful. Looks is an intensive verb because it is followed by the subject complement beautiful. Here the subject is sky. Beautiful is the subject complement. Next, what are extensive verbs? Words or phrases following an extensive verb work as the verb's object. They apply to the verb and not to the subject. For example, she is eating very slowly. Here, eating is an extensive verb because it is followed by the verb's object, slowly. Why do we call it as a verb object? Because it is describing the verb eating. It is not describing the subject she. Hence, eating is an extensive verb. Similarly, Veena sings beautifully. The word beautifully is describing the verb sing and not Reena. Hence, sings is an extensive verb. Further, extensive verbs are classified based on transitivity into two types, transitive and intransitive. So, what is a transitive verb? A verb which has direct or indirect object or both as complement. Okay, here it is complex, E-L-E-M-E-N-T. Okay, sorry for that. Next, these verbs transfer their action directly to the object, whereas intransitive verbs don't. Okay, we'll discuss intransitive verbs in the coming slides. Let's see what is direct and indirect object in brief in this video. So, a direct object in a sentence answers the question of whom or what. In a sentence, Raj invited John to his party. Raj invited whom to his party? John. Hence, John is the direct object. He is the direct receiver of the action. Invited. Hence, John is the direct object. And invited is the transitive verb. Because here it has a direct object. Next, indirect object. It answers the question of to whom, for whom, and for what. For example, in the sentence, Sarita sent Mary Christmas goodies. Here the direct object is goodies and indirect object is Mary. Why? Sarita sent what to Mary? Goodies. Hence, goodies is a direct object. Sarita sent whom the goodies? Mary. It is answering the question to whom. Hence, Mary is the indirect object. Next, monotransitive. Transitive verbs are further classified into monotransitive verbs. That means the verbs which can take single object. For example, John hit the ball. Okay. Here there is only one object, the ball. Hence, the verb hit is a monotransitive verb. Similarly, Reena sang a song. Here there is only one object, song. Next, Ramesh repaired his car. His car is the direct object and there is only one object in the sentence. Hence, repair is the monotransitive verb. Next, ditransitive verb, which can take both direct and indirect objects. For example, Reena gave me an apple. Here, apple is a direct object. Me is an indirect object. Okay? Hence, gave is a ditransitive verb here because it is followed by both direct and indirect objects. Similarly, you loaned them money. Next, They bought their eldest daughter a car. So, the direct object or in this case indirect object need not be a single word. They bought what to the eldest daughter? Car. Hence, car is a direct object. They bought whom a car? Their eldest daughter. Because here the whole phrase, their eldest daughter, represents the indirect object. Next, the professor gave some assignment to the class. So these examples are for direct and indirect objects. Okay. To the class, it is a prepositional phrase. The professor gave some assignment to the class. To whom? To the class. So it's an indirect object. Next, Vicky bought a ring for Tina. Ring is a direct object because it is answering the question what. And to whom he has brought a ring? For Tina. Hence Tina is an indirect object. Next, verbs that are able to take direct objects and their complements are called as complex transitive verbs. In the sentence, Amol called Ramesh a fool. So, here Ramesh is an object, direct object, because he is the receiver of the action called, and fool. The word fool is describing Ramesh. Hence, fool is the object complement. Hence, the verb called is taking both direct object and their complement. Called is called as complex transitive verb. Similarly, Raj found the professor marvelous. Here, found is the complex transitive verb. So, what is an intransitive verb? The verb that do not permit any object and its complement. Okay? They are called as intransitive verbs. That means there is no sentence, there is no word in the sentence that tells who or what receives the action. That means there is no direct object to receive the action. Such kind of verbs are called as intransitive verbs. In the first example, she lies. The sentence is correct, okay, but there is no object to receive the action. Lies is an intransitive verb. We talked. Okay, they danced. It rained a lot. So there is no object followed. There is no object which follows the verb rained. The car appeared out of nowhere, and her phone rang loudly. In all these examples, as we have discussed, there is no direct object. Hence, these verbs are examples of intransitive verbs. But there are few exceptions. Verbs which are both transitive and intransitive. Okay? Children played in the park. Children played in the park. So here, played is the intransitive verb here. Okay? Because there is no object in the sentence. They played what? They played hide and seek in the park. In this case, played is the transitive verb. Next, she is walking there. Here, walking is an intransitive verb. She is walking the dog. Here, dog is the object. Okay, hence, the verb to walk, to play, these are exceptions wherein the verbs act as both transitive and intransitive verbs. Similarly, let's eat cake. Here, to eat. It acts as both transitive and intransitive. She agreed my terms. She agreed yesterday. So, in the first sentence, she agreed to what? She agreed to my terms. So, my terms is the object. Hence, the first statement is an example of transitive verb. In the next statement, she agreed yesterday. Here there is no object. Hence, second example belongs to intransitive verb.